This is something that you guys have been requesting for a long time. It took a lot of time and work to put together, and I hope you enjoy. This happened in 7th grade, around 3 to 3.5 years ago. Because of that, a few details here and there might be slightly blurry, but I'll do my best. This was on a weekend during the school year where I wanted to invite my friends over for a sleepover / all-nighter, because at this point we were all 13, the beginning of teenage years, and also I've never had my friends over before for a sleepover, because I was the one to usually go to their houses, so I figured that I would invite them over this time. Everyone was on board and they could make it, so I told them to stop over at a certain time, and they all got here almost perfectly within that 15 to 20 minute range within the time that I gave them. The first part went as you would expect. I gave them a little tour of the house and I showed them everything in all of the rooms, but of course there was one room in particular, or floor I should say, that stood out from the rest. The basement is by far the coolest part of the house. It was nice and cool down there. It had reclining chairs, just like the ones that are in movie theaters. We have a bunch of gaming consoles and a ton of action figures and statue figures from a ton of different movies. And of course, we had a ton of gaming consoles like the Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStations, and a lot more. But the one that we were going to use was the VR headset, which is probably just the best one that we could do because we can all take turns using it, and we have the most games that are going to be the most friendly for all of us playing, such as Beat Saber, which is one of my favorite games ever, and I've been playing for over 6 years as I'm writing this, but at that time, it was probably closer to maybe 3 or 4 years. But either way, I'm definitely better at it now. We didn't go too crazy yet, because the only thing that we wanted to do for now was just show my friends how to play Beat Saber, and they all did a lot better than I thought they would. Dino got his first win almost immediately. Emery went up on a higher difficulty on his third try, and Ryan did the same thing as Emery, but he got a super high rank, which was really impressive. But anyway, at some point we had to take a break, because in order to pull off the all-nighter, we need food. So we went upstairs, and we asked my parents about it, and we couldn't have been more satisfied. My parents ordered pizza for all of us, which was absolutely amazing, and it worked out perfect, because there are probably over 10 locations in my area where you can get pizza, but this location was by far my favorite. And, of course, because I'm crazy and some of my other friends are crazy, not all of them, but a few of them, we're crazy when it comes to spicy, so of course, we brought in a lot of hot sauce, and we have a ridiculous amount of hot sauce in my house. We tried pretty much all of them. We were trying to kind of figure out, like, which ones are really good, which ones are not good, even though most of them were pretty predictable about which ones were going to be good and not good. But there were a few that we had to hold on to as some of the best, such as Frank's Red Hot and Sriracha, because those were the two best. However, the two worst were, of course, the two most hot: Da Bomb Beyond Insanity, and another one from a company called Hellfire. One of their hottest ones is called Doomed, and that is probably the hottest hot sauce I've ever had. I've had it once before this night, but yeah, both times were absolutely nightmare fuel, but we still had a lot of fun just messing around with all of that. After dinner, we went out in the front yard to wrestle, and we also had a little sword duel, or whatever you call it. We had a bunch of fake swords. These were made of foam and were pretty flimsy, but we had one of Asta's swords from Black Clover. We had a couple random swords from Sword Art Online, and then we also had Link's Master Sword from Zelda. And this was a lot of fun because we were just kind of goofing around and showing off like different moves and stuff for sword fighting and all of that. And of course, we also wrestled around a little bit, and it was really fun. However, we did have to cut it kind of short to go back inside because the mosquitoes got pretty bad. However, something else happened that I would not have predicted. Yes, my brother actually did the one-chip challenge. I was not expecting him to do it at all, but he did it, and he did shockingly well, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this challenge and how terrible it can end. Of course, it depends on how good you are with spicy, but with this thing, I don't even know if it matters if you're good or not with spicy, because either way, you're in for a challenge with this thing. But even when my brother had water, milk, and bread on his side, he barely had to go through any of them because his level with spiciness is just off the charts. Even though I'm also pretty good with it, I struggled a lot more than him when I did it. And of course I did it, like, way after the story took place. But anyway, he did have to stay upstairs for a little while just to fully recover. And then me and my friends went back downstairs, even though we didn't really do that much. We just kind of played Roblox and stuff. But then, once my brother came back downstairs, we started up Beat Saber again, and we also played a lot of Super Hot, which was also really fun. Beat Saber was definitely the fan favorite out of all of us because it's just a good way to get exercise in general, and plus you get to pick any of the songs that they got, and you get to use lightsabers to hit the boxes to the beat of music, and you also have to hit them in the direction that the arrows on the boxes are pointing, which that gives you an extra challenge. And of course there's ways to adjust it, so if it's really difficult for you, you can make it easier, or if it's too easy, you can make it a lot harder. However, with Super Hot, this one was a really big challenge for me. I don't know why, but I just couldn't get the whole thing down for probably a good 15 to 20 attempts. But basically, everything is made of glass, and the amount of speed that you're moving at is the same speed that everything else is going to move. So you basically want to beat all of the red guys before the red guys beat you. And you can do it in a lot of ways. You can just throw a punch, you can use long range weapons, you can use close range, you can throw items and stuff like that. But yeah, it is a lot harder than it actually sounds. But yeah, it took me a very long time to get the gist of that. And then, when it came to Roblox, after we were tired of VR, we played a bunch of simulator games, tycoons, and of course we had to play probably around 15, if I had to guess, 15 horror games on Roblox, because at that point we were kind of bored and we just figured, why not? And we especially figured we would do that because we planned on playing these 3 games until we had another plan at one specific time in the night. At exactly 3 in the morning, we summoned Ronald McDonald.
Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper.
Anyway, as stupid as that is, we had a surprisingly fun time with it because pretty much the whole time we were just sprinting in circles around the chairs, and we were just goofing around and being stupid given our age and all of us being together. but it also lasted for a surprisingly long time. It went from exactly 3 in the morning to exactly 4 in the morning. It took an entire hour, which was surprising because I thought I've never done this before, so I thought it would take, like, I don't know, 20 minutes at the most. But no, it took a whole hour. And this was another random fun thing for us to do to take a break from the games and everything. But this was shockingly fun. I don't know why, but it was just so stupid and so bad to the point that it was good. By now, it was probably close to 4:30 in the morning, and at this point we were definitely getting more tired. But instead of going to sleep, we actually went to the gym that we have in my basement in the back area of the room, and in that area we have a bike, a treadmill, an elliptical, and a rowing machine, which the rowing machine was a little bit loud, and we didn't want to wake up my parents who have been sleeping the whole night, so instead we just stuck to the other 3 machines. And we also had a lot of floor area, so we could do like push-ups, sit-ups, leg lifts, cherry pickers, and a bunch of other just floor exercises like that, which, as boring as that might seem, it was actually pretty fun, because again, it was with all of us together and we were just kind of talking about nonsense the whole time, even though some of the topics got kind of weird that I'm not going to say on here for obvious reasons. But anyway, we worked out for a little while. It didn't actually go for that long because we were honestly getting pretty dang exhausted, and the fact that we were working out wasn't exactly helping. So at some point, probably close to maybe 5 in the morning, maybe like 5:30, we had to have gotten at least a little bit of shut-eye for a little bit. We barely got any, especially me, because I'm usually the early riser in the family, and especially in my friend group. My brother is the exact opposite. He could go the whole day if he could, but that didn't happen because by the time I woke up, it was like just after 6 in the morning, so I got like 45 minutes to an hour of sleep, which I definitely got the least amount of sleep out of all of us. But also, at around 6:30, I woke up everyone, and that was when I told my friends the surprise that I didn't tell them before yet. My mom was making her pancakes that she doesn't make very much, but they are so good, and no one can make pancakes like my mom can. They're nice and light, they're super fluffy, and they're not dry at all, so like you don't have to put a ton of syrup on them just to make it so that they're not super dry. But they are so good, and it is the perfect way to start your day with breakfast like this. And it was good enough to the point where all 3 of my friends asked for the recipe so that they could make it at their house sometime. But yeah, this was a very, very good breakfast. At this point, it was getting closer to probably 9 a.m., and that meant that my friends were getting picked up soon. So we went back downstairs, and I helped them pack everything back up and just kind of get all the stuff back together. I put the air mattresses back, and we all just kind of chilled on the reclining chairs for a little bit, and we just kind of talked about everything that we did, basically giving ourselves a summary of what we did. And it was honestly a really good time. It was probably one of the funnest nights that I had in that time, or that year, I should say. And the fact that it was my first all-nighter, that's what made it especially fun. And I could actually do it with other people, because I can pretty rarely pull off all-nighters when I'm just here by myself. I usually need more than one person other than myself to actually do these types of challenges. But either way, this was a very fun time for me and my friends. Even before this whole thing started, my friends said that they were talking to their moms about this for like months before it actually happened, and even after it happened, they were still talking about how much fun they had, and I'm really glad that this worked out, because again, as I explained earlier, I never invited my friends over before, because I was usually the one to go to their house, but this time I invited them here, and we all had so much fun. After everyone got back home, we texted in the group chat about the whole night and how much fun we had, and we do want to do this again at some point, which up to today we still haven't, but I definitely still plan on doing it at some point, but I don't know. This might end up being another time where I go over to their house instead, but I don't know. But if we get any updates on any more of these types of events coming up, I'll send out an update, and maybe I'll have another story like this. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you again to Infinity Amy for requesting this video, and let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do another video like this. Although if I do it, it's gonna take a while, just like it did for this one, so be mindful of that. But anyway, if you liked it, then go down below and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. That way you won't miss any uploads in the future. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.
I'll be your heart, temptation.